Hello. It's so nice to see you all. Those of you who are here, it's nice to see you. Feels weird to be back here, but I'm super grateful to be back here. Like, I'd rather not be at home anymore. It's no fun to like sit at home and just being normal things. We have kind of a weird week, right? And I wrote it up here. So we have today, and I want to talk about like a bunch of little things, and then we'll get into chapter 11 once we get caught up. And then Wednesday is a campus-wide flex day. So what that means is all of you get the day off and we have to come and do classes. So, right, yes, right. That's exciting for all of you right now. Luckily, a lot of them are virtual, so it gives me this like beautiful segue back into normal morning. So I won't see you Wednesday, but I'll obviously see you Monday, and then we'll keep going. So a few things, right? One, these are what? They only had to do, yeah, right. They only had to do the ACO. So that means faster recovery. They're like, you'll still wear the brace and crutches for 6 weeks. So it's like that's the faster version. But bottom line, they only did the ACL. The other ones were like healing on their own. Not healed, but healing. So not the best of them, but far from the most challenging one. So I'm super grateful for that. It has been a long, like 2 weeks today. So it feels like I'm getting there, but I got like 4 more weeks to go before I'm allowed to like drive and do normal things again. What else was I gonna say? It's October now, which is exciting. I love October. It's like the best month of the year. Halloween for this month.
Yeah.
I'm eating an obscene amount of candy. I'm ready.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I really kind of like it too.
I love October.
Like I feel like it's kind of weird because it's like my relationships the seasons are also kind of weird too. It's like at first it was like, oh, I don't like it because that's when school starts back up again. It's like now that it's like it's at college age and it's like I felt like fully kind of disconnected like fall from like the stuff. It's like actually fall is kind of the best time
I love the
to like
fall.
just hang out because it's like it's not too hot to attention. It's not the summer where you're essentially being burnt alive.
Right. Yeah.
Where you're gonna be burnt alive if you dare go outside without sunscreen.
Yep, our weather has
Exactly.
cooled down.
It's not the extreme coldness of winter that insists that you bundle up or stay inside for all the rain.
Yep. Yeah.
But it's just enough so that you could possibly get like that nice jacket you like.
Right.
Pull out that nice jacket you like.
Getting comfortable.
And look through the stuff and see like some beautiful leaves like doing stuff.
I'll take it.
And even better, it's like it's pretty much coated in it's pretty much just coated in like awesome holidays.
Yes, yes.
Like both Halloween and Thanksgiving are pretty good.
Well, since I saw you last, you've done a couple of things. So I just want to kind of go back for 1 minute before we go forward. So first thing, the last thing that you did after I saw you last was your exam, right? And I know that probably feels like a long time ago now. It was 2 weeks ago today. I know because I was in surgery as you were all taking it, right? But 2 weeks ago today, you took exam 1. I always like to share some statistics really quickly, just from the exam, just so you can kind of know where you fell in relation to other people. And again, thinking back, it's been a bit, but the high score on the exam was a 99. The low score on the exam, and kind of an outlier, was 29. And then the average was 86. Okay, so what that tells me is the vast majority of you did quite well. Like the average was a mid B, a lot of A's on the exam. The average amount of time people took was 50 minutes. Okay, so you had an hour and 15. So again, most of you, plenty of time, a lot of A's. There were like a couple of scores that were lower, but for the most part, they were all in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, which makes me really happy to see. I hope you found it to be very clear and straightforward. A lot of you should be very happy with your grade. I always kind of give the same little spiel after a test, and that is use it as a learning opportunity. Okay, so if you're like, I love my score, I did so good, I'm happy, approach this second unit the same way. If you wish you had done a little bit better, kind of change it up. If you didn't do the study guide, do the study guide next time. If you're not taking notes, take notes from here on out, right? If you're not reading the chapter, start reading the chapter. Like you probably have a good idea of what you're doing or not doing, but kind of think about that a little bit. If you did good, which is a lot of you, pat on the back and keep doing the same thing. Okay, so I think, in my opinion, this is the hardest exam because of those anatomy diagrams that are on it. I think the next two are a little bit easier. I always hesitate to say that because I don't want you to study less, but I think that one is the hardest one. And then they get a little easier from here. The other thing is you were all in charge of a couple of things since I saw you last. So I hope you watched the lecture video that I made for chapters 8 and 9. If you didn't, it's still there.
I at least got the notes written down.
Good.
Notes were down.
Good. So there was a lecture video for 8 and 9. It's relatively short, but make sure you watch that if you didn't already. I'm not going to be covering those because I did it through the video. And I hope that you watched the film, right? He's just not that into you. I graded all of those worksheets. Normally we watch that in class and we talk about it. So I'll miss that dialogue, but I felt like it was a good thing for me to assign to you while I was gone.
If you want my lightning quick version of that, it's just like personally with my thought of that, it's just I just really like the question a lot of the stuff on dating.
Yeah. And the
Like,
whole
this
point
is-
of the movie is to make you think about relationships and dating and some of the cheating and what do we consider cheating and not. A lot of characters, I think it's a great movie. If you didn't do the worksheet, you can still watch the film. Obviously, go back and watch it. But I think it's a wonderful way to connect chapters like 8 and 9, and then some of the stuff related to like dating and so on. So that's kind of all the stuff that you were in charge of while I was gone. I wanted to save the unit on orientation rather than covering it in order. And I felt like those were good kind of lighter chapters that you could do on your own. So what we'll do from here is we'll move forward. We'll start chapter 11, and we'll kind of continue on that way. Okay. Are there any other thoughts or questions, anything from the last two weeks at all since I saw you? It feels like it's been so long, but I'm glad to see you all again. So it's nice to be in here, even if it's not the most comfortable. It's nice to be. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I said before you walked in, it went well. It went really good. It was just my ACL that they had to repair. So could have been slightly better, but it could have been so much worse. So I'm really grateful. They told me I have like minimal scars and stitches, though I feel them very intensely. So I'm glad it wasn't more. So yeah, super glad it wasn't more. Anybody else? Anything else? All right. I got my Halloween costume yesterday. You want to know what we're going to be? My partner and I, since we're soccer coaches, we're going to be number 6 and number 7. We had to, right? We have nothing but like 11, 12, and 13-year-old girls. They're going to be so irritated, and I can't wait for every second of it, right? We're going to show up as number 6 and 7.
Find some instructions for night for really cool masks. So it's like I'd like to really get that, and I have.
Yeah.
And I'll probably just mix it up with like a cloak.
Right? Nice. My kids got their costumes. They're all going as like evil clowns this year. I'm not sure why we went that route. We went to Halloween Horror Nights. That was fun. I got to go through Terrifier. I waited in line for a record 6 seconds, right? Everybody on TikTok was waiting for like 3 hours. We like walked right on. The one time being injured was like the biggest advantage in my life. Like we went through the Five Nights at Freddy's maze 3 times. We went through Terrifier twice. But through everything, I didn't wait more than 1 minute. I waited 1 minute for Fallout, and that was it. Like, I feel so guilty saying that, right? But it was an amazing, so I think that's why they're all going as clowns. Like, they were inspired by Terrifier or something, right? I was expecting it to smell really bad in there, but it was okay. My daughter the whole time was like, we can't go through there. It's going to stink. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Oh, complaining. Oh, really? I mean, my kids absolutely loved it. And then they went and sat and ate the horrible pizza so they could have that and the cupcake. And I thought it was fine. Like, I enjoyed it, but I feel like we went through the whole thing so quickly. But I mean, I thought it was well themed. I liked it. Yeah. I mean, I've heard mixed things. We enjoyed it. I tried not to complain just because the wine was stupid. And I just walked up like this, like just not looking at anyone. But I thought it was good. I liked it. All right. Anyway, I will move forward, but again, nice to see you all. What we'll start today, this will take us to classes to get through. So we'll talk about chapter 11, which is orientation, right? So we'll look at different orientations. How do we measure it? What determines orientation? Some like attitudes and laws and discrimination and things related. We'll spend some time specifically on bisexuality at the end of it. Let me grab my thing here. I left it here. So let's define this first, right? And orientation and gender get confused a lot. And if you think back, it feels like forever ago, but remember when you went out to do your research, people not quite knowing what these things were, right? Like, and that's a really common thing that we see, that people don't know what orientation is. And we tend to think of this as boxes, but orientation is much more of a spectrum, right? It's more of like a range, a long line where people kind of fall in these spaces that can move back and forth. You might identify as one way your whole life until you meet a certain person, and then it changes, right? So thinking about it in terms of like rigid boxes, I think is a little bit of a mistake. It tends to be more of a spectrum. Now, some people stay very fixed on that spectrum their whole life, whether that's as gay or straight or bi or pansexual or asexual, but it can change, right? And this has a lot to do with who you are drawn to. Now, we tend to think about who you're drawn to only in terms of sex, okay, like physical intimacy, but it's who you enjoy spending time with, who you feel comfortable around, emotionally, who you connect with. And people don't tend to love that piece of it as much, but a lot of it has to do with relationships in addition to who you're physically attracted to and physically intimate with. So generally what we have are like 4 different orientations. Now there's a ton of alternative ones that we can talk about. There's a bunch of them, but generally we go with homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, and asexual, right? So those are the 4 that we typically will mention. Good morning. Homosexual, homo means like, okay? So you're drawn to people like yourself, right? So men toward men, women toward women. Hetero is the opposite, okay? So you're drawn to people opposite of yourself. Bisexual is both, right? So bisexual tends to be that you're kind of connecting to either or, and asexual where you don't have any attraction to either sex. Now, this is one that's grown a lot over the last 10 years. Asexuality has very much been on the rise over the last 10 years or so, but it's always been there. The term like gay and lesbian tend to be part of like the homosexual umbrella. And they have fallen out of favor a little bit as well. But the term gay is actually a very old word.
It used to mean like happy, then
Yep.
it's turned into like a slur against gay people, and then it's
Yeah.
just like, and it's just like for some reason it's just like this weird thing. It's just like this weird thing where now like it's like this weird thing like nowadays it's like this weird stuff where it's just like the queer people are now starting to legitimately take all of the negative stuff and just take all the negative stuff and turn it into like something positive.
Well, it does and like have a kind of an interesting like backstory. So it comes from a French word, guy, right? And when you look at the like history of it, up until the 12th century, it meant that you were carefree and joyful, right? So if someone said, "Oh, you're gay," it meant you were like happy, joyful, and carefree. Now it went like farther than that. In the 17th century, you were carefree to a like detriment, right? Like you were so happy and carefree that it was almost like a bad thing. And so when we said that people were gay in the 17th century, we meant that you were like immoral. You're overly happy. You're overly carefree. And so that's how we meant it then. And then if you look at the 1900s, it became this like where you didn't follow conventional sexuality. Again, it was like to a detriment. And then the opposite of it became straight. If you were straight, you were on the conventional narrow path, and gay was because you were like immoral and weren't following conventional sexuality. So it kind of has this like interesting like evolution. And if you watch older films, they say the word gay a lot to mean happy, right? That was the original meaning of it. But again, these are kind of the typical ones that we talk about. There's also a lot of like pansexuality where you can be attracted to anyone, right? It's not so much the person, or it's not so much their gender, it's the person, or their sex, it's the person instead. But we're kind of all over the place with these being the typical four. Now, before we talk about some of the big people and like the theories and how we define this, I have a group of people that I'm going to have you spend a few moments with here. You're going to rate and decide the sexuality of these people based on 2 sentences. And I guarantee you'll have a lot of moments of like, I need more information. You don't have it, right? So you're going to have to decide, is this person heterosexual, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and please add asexual. You can also choose that as well. It's not on here, but feel free to add it. So in like 2 or 3 people, like in pairs or groups of 3, I want you to rate these people, and then we're gonna do a Kahoot and vote on them, right? Let's see what we all come up with. So I'm gonna ask you a favor, just for like simplicity in my life here. If you can get a group of like 2 or 3, then come around one, so I don't have to hobble around.
Hello.
And you're not turning it in, so we're just gonna decide together. So decide, are they gay, straight, bisexual, asexual? As a group, vote on it. All right. And if you need an extra copy, I have some up here. All right.
Oh, sorry, it's like, yeah. Okay. Let's have another line and then talk. Also, this is a man who's had several romantic relationships with women, and so he's strongly concerned. More attracted to the same thing. I would say that's true. We can go tomorrow. A woman with something when it's her face, so it's not. Yeah.
I always am like, I want more information.
A man who married a bisexual woman 1 year after his girlfriend. A woman who saw is active in gay rights. I would say a woman that since then had sexual relationships. Yeah. It's like yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's logically and emotionally, it's there's the sexual experiences.
I don't know. Yeah. Because it doesn't specify romance. Like, if only she was romantically attracted to her. I didn't know. What do you guys? And then Anne was in her box, so she attracted her to the field.
When you finish, make sure you join the Kahoot so that you can vote. Bless you.
Let's use a mask. That's why I do all the time.
All right, so make sure everyone, if you can join in, if you can't, you can always vote with a neighbor next to you. We're not going to do all of them, but we're going to look at a few of them. We'll vote and talk about a few of them together. All right. Okay. Give you like another minute. Yeah. It's not? Is anyone else having that problem where you can't join?
We could try scanning the club.
It's a good idea. And worst case, if it doesn't work, you could always see if one of them will let you vote with them. Unless you feel violently differently, in which case.
There we go.
Good? Okay. All right. Everyone in there who wants to be? Yeah, of course. No, yeah. I want your vote. Let's go. Okay, so again, we're going to look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Okay, and vote however you want. Doesn't have to be the same as what your group voted. You'll have choices up here. There's no worry about speed, so take your time to pick the right. Like, it's not a competition. We'll just see where we fell, and then we can chat about it. Okay, got it? In? Okay. All right. So here we go. So the first one we're going to look at is number 1. Okay. So a woman who has had a number of romantic relationships with women and is not interested in pursuing relationships with men. Okay. So let's look at number 1. We'll start here. This one feels like relatively clear cut, but we'll see what you think. Okay, 100%, right? I don't think we're going to get any better than that anywhere from here, right? But 100%. So why'd you vote the way you voted? Everyone voted for lesbian or gay. Why? What made you go that direction for her? And, yeah. Yeah, she has had relationships with women, not interested in men, feels pretty clear cut, right? Lesbian, at least for now, right? We'll hold her to it. Okay, so let's go with the next one, number 2. Okay, I feel like they get a little blurrier from here. So a man who has had several romantic relationships with women and men though he strongly prefers relationships with men. All right, so number 2. Okay. Oh, bisexual. So nobody voted otherwise. So why'd you think what you voted here? So we got everyone saying bisexual. Why do we vote for that? Yeah.
You have attraction to both sexes.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter how strong the attraction is to one or the other, if there is attraction to one. Like if there's attraction to both. then-
Okay. So if you have it, right, then it counts, right? And it goes both ways. Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of bisexual people that have a preference,
Sure.
like, one way, so,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, right. Nothing wrong with having a preference within that orientation. And that's really common. Like you mentioned, a lot of people will identify as bisexual, but maybe one has to work a little harder than the other to get your attention, right? You kind of tend to lean one way. So bisexual. All right. So number 5 is where we're going to go next. A woman who has self-identified as heterosexual all her life, but finds herself attracted to a new female coworker. Okay, so number 5, the scandal with her female coworker. A little more diversity here, right? So most of you saying bisexual. We have a couple saying heterosexual, 3 of you, and then 1 lesbian or gay. So thoughts on, I feel like I want to give them names, right? Betty, no, I don't know. All right, thoughts on number 5. What do we think? Why'd you vote the way that you did? Yeah.
I voted heterosexual. 'Cause
Okay.
I would say that she's not bisexual yet, she doesn't really know yet, but like, I say that she was bi-curious.
Okay.
But you can be heterosexual, so.
Was this your bi-curious one as well? You're like, I need another square on here, right? Okay, so the fact that she's just attracted to, like, doesn't sound like she's done anything yet. Like, so for you, still kind of put her as she
Like,
self-identifies.
she might not enjoy it in real life, and like, she might just enjoy it.
Okay, interesting. Other thoughts on her? I mean, agree, disagree? Yeah. Yeah.
Person to date, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they're not, sexually finding out.
Okay.
The fact that she is sexually different from who's finding her coworker beautiful.
Okay. You know, the different levels of like that feeling, right? Yeah.
I kind of feel that's not gay. Uh,
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right, where you can find someone attractive doesn't mean you're interested, you just find them attractive. Now it does say that like she's attracted to them. I mean, so you could kind of go with different interpretations. Somebody voted lesbian or gay. Does anyone want to own that and comment? I won't make you if you don't want to, but somebody voted that way, like maybe really excited about that attraction there, right? Like if she did pursue it, that might change it, right? So it's interesting, like we have some debate, right? And she self-identifies as heterosexual. So I would default to that because that's how she self-identifies. But again, not quite agreeing. Okay, let's go with my favorite one. This is my favorite one to talk about. Number 8, right? A woman who had a sexual relationship with her college roommate a decade ago, but has since then had sexual relationships only with men. So let's vote on her. Number 8. Ten years ago. Ooh, okay. So 9 heterosexual, 4 bisexual. Thoughts on her? What do we think about her? I don't know why I wanted to call her Jennifer. Thoughts on Jennifer? I have names for these fictional people, right? Yeah, what do you think?
I think you can have like experiment by curiosity and try to explore your own sexuality. I don't think that necessarily means that you are like a certain sexuality. And
Okay.
It seems like maybe after she experimented, she realized she was only attracted to men because she has only had sexual relationships with men
Okay.
since then.
So which one did you vote?
Oh, sorry, I voted heterosexual.
Heterosexual. Okay. Other thoughts on her? Yeah. Sure. Okay.
So, things that she explored it. And like, the default setting.
Okay. So she explored it a little bit, maybe came back. Can I ask a follow-up question? Ready? Okay. Follow-up here. How many times can you experiment before it counts? 1, 2, 3, 4 plus. 4. I mean, and this might be different for each of you, right? This is, I think, something really interesting to think about.
Nice.
Oh, some of you are very liberal. 4 plus, right? 2,
Honestly.
1. Okay, so nobody picked 3. 3 is the odd one out here, right? So it's either 1, 2, or lots, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think too, because it's like, it's one of those cases where it's like, you could experiment it once, you could have tried it again, just to make sure, like, oh yeah, maybe it's because like my partner was really
Sure.
that good, but then it's like, honestly, with 4 plus, it's like, with with 4 plus, it's like, at the very least, you're at least gonna get like looked at with suspicion.
So did you vote for 2?
Yeah, I go
Okay.
with 2.
Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like 2 is like the good, like it's like a good median. It's
Right.
like a good median to like understand. It's like if it's 4 plus, and people are gonna that as 4 plus. If it's 4 plus, either A, I'm suspicious of that, and it's like, and I feel like that the jury's still out with that. Like,
Okay.
what if it was just like what if it was just because of like you didn't like that? I don't know.
You need an adequate sample size. I mean, as a statistician, right, like as a psychologist, you need to at least have a couple, make sure it was a good sample, right? Yeah.
Well, one, because like sometimes, not sometimes, but most of the time, like when you're young, you kind of already know. And I feel like you don't have to experience that much in order to be like, yeah, gay. Or very true.
Would you agree?
Like I feel like, yeah, because I feel like when I was like younger, I just knew I like girls. I didn't need it.
Sure. Okay.
So I feel like I just put 1 because like you kind of already know. You don't need to like do it a couple times to validate your own
Okay. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I feel like it's an experience as long as you have like a time experience, like just really want to see like what it would be like.
Okay.
So I feel like it's more like more curious how they want to know what they like.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Right. There isn't a right or wrong answer to this. I think the interesting thing is it's very up for debate, and everybody has a different definition here. Yeah.
What's really funny is I was kind of thinking of it the opposite way from what Sam was thinking about.
Sure.
So I was thinking about how many times can you experiment before you get labeled as
Yeah, okay.
something, versus like before you can label yourself as.
Mhm.
And I would say like labeling yourself as something is like, you just kind of have to go with like what you do. But I do think that you can do a lot of stuff and be like, yeah, you know what, I actually like just realized I'm not that into that.
Yeah.
I don't think it defines who you are going forward just because of that experience in the past.
Okay.
So I think I don't know, I was feeling generous, and that's why I think 4 plus. But I think 4 plus, if you can experiment 4 plus times and still be like, well, I wasn't that into that.
Yeah.
If you really are, wanting to change your mind. But I do think like 1 time is enough if you want to define yourself as that.
Depending on the 1 time, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's tricky.
And it's just like, I don't know, it's just hard to judge, so I feel like you gotta be flexible, you gotta like trust the person, they know what they're talking about, when they're talking about their own sexuality.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Yeah.
At first I said 4, but
Sure.
then I rewrote the question and changed the answer to 1. I think like because it's not how many times can you experiment before like you know your sexuality, it's how many times can you experiment before it counts. I think all like relationships, like sexual or romantic or emotional, I think all of them count as a part of your identity, as a part of your occupation, or who you are. I don't think you can value one less than the other,
Yeah.
which is why I would now say.
Okay, yeah, Sure.
It's also like, you know, asexual.
Yeah.
They don't experience, but they already know that they, woman is on.
Yeah.
Almost like, and I feel like that's kind of invalidating them because they, you know, don't want to do that.
Sure.
Would that count as experimenting? Because.
Right, this is tricky, this is the point is that it's really complicated, right? Because what if you have a really awesome experience in that one time, or a really bad experience in that one time, or you don't know after that one time, so you're like, I better try again, right? Like 3 would be the tiebreaker, 1 good, 1 bad, and the other one decides, right? I don't know, right? I might have voted 3, but I also might have voted 1. Like, I'm not even sure how I feel about this, because it depends, right? And some people count it, some people don't. Did anyone have the like, oh, it's just college, right? Like a lot of people discount that time as like, well, maybe she was drunk, maybe it was just college, maybe it was her roommate, maybe it was her friend. Like there's a lot of layers to this, right? I had, this is like really like important information for you to know here. I had like a couple of boyfriends when I was younger. I don't count them toward my orientation at all, right? Like I wouldn't add them, but they are part of like my journey to find my orientation, I would say. And like at the time, I wouldn't say it was anything where I was like, oh, I'm not at all into you. It's just like what you were supposed to do, you know? And so I went with it. But like, I think I knew at the same time, I was like, I was attracted to my boyfriend's best friend. I should have known at the time, right? But like my parents weren't very open and accepting. So I feel like I tried to do what I was supposed to. Does it count or not? I don't know. Again, it's messy. Yeah.
I don't know, I just really like what Mara said.
Yeah.
I do think that all your experiences kind of.
Yeah.
Add to like the sum of who of.
Right. Sure.
But like, no one experienced it,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
Like you can't, like, and it's kind of simplistic to that, oh, this is how I will be a person based on this. Because there's so much more that goes into it.
Sure.
Sexual encounters are one thing, but then there's also like other factors, it's just like a very narrow. I guess.
Sure. But then to play devil's advocate, you ever had that one experience where you're like, yeah, now I know, right? Like, it's wild how it could count or not. You could know, you could not. And I want the takeaway here is I really want you to know that this is not as neat, just like gender, it's not as neat as we want it to be, right? It can be for some people, and for others, it can be very complicated, like Jennifer here, right? I don't know. Yeah, did you have a thought, Mercy?
Sorry, I didn't mean like, oh, if you identify as lesbian, but like you have like a boyfriend with time that would sort of feel bisexual, people identify that way.
Sure.
I never meant like what Taz said, like it's the sort of your experiences just build your attitude.
Yeah.
Sexuality, even if it doesn't affect how you orient yourself.
Sure.
If that makes sense, which
Yeah.
is why I said that. Like you can, I think all experiments yeah.
But it might not affect the way you currently label yourself,
Yeah.
right? Like it may or may not, right, affect it. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, one more, and this one probably should have done it before this because it's so anticlimactic after this. But number 9, a man who has never felt sexually attracted to anyone or had a sexual relationship. Right? Okay, so I lied. We had one more that was obvious, right? Like, okay, so asexual, and again, like that wasn't on the options, but it told you to add it. No attraction, no relationship. So, and you can close this. We're done with it now. But it's interesting how we tend to like have this very like evolving thing when it comes to orientation, but the way that we have tended to view it over time is very clear cut, very boxed. Not everyone has viewed it that way, though. Remember Kinsey? We talked about Kinsey back in chapter 2. One of the most famous like sex researchers of all time, Kinsey talked about orientation as a continuum, right? And that I think is a really good way of viewing it, where you could be anywhere from like 0 to 6 and kind of move along the continuum over your life. So we said someone who's a 0 is exclusively heterosexual with no homosexual like contact or attraction or anything like that. And then all the way at the other end would be the opposite, exclusively homosexual. And then you have like 3 in the middle, which would be like the true definition of bisexuality. Or you could kind of fall like somewhere on the scale, right? So this is kind of like a very popularly accepted like way of rating your orientation, somewhere between these, right, where you're in that range. One of the most popular instruments to measure orientation is something called the KSOG, the Klein Sexual Orientation Grid, where what they do is they have you rate yourself on different levels, and then it gives you a number which tells you your orientation. I have this to give you today. You're not turning it in, so feel free to be honest as much as you're comfortable. But what you're going to do is I'm going to give you this test, if you will. It's more of an inventory. And this is the actual KSOG, the Klein Sexual Orientation Grid. And what you're going to do for A, B, C, and D, and E, so not the last two, is follow this scale. And then for F and G, you follow the next scale. Sounded like I swore at you right there, right? F and G, right? But F and G, you will follow this scale, right? It's like, I'm not that aggressive. I'm so sorry, right? And then they define what each one is at the bottom. Okay, so you're not turning this in. Don't worry about the question on the back. I just wanted you to have a chance to think about this. So it's going to say past, present, and ideal. So you have 3 different areas to rate on. Your past is up to a year, so the last year of your life. The present is right now, the most recent year. And then your ideal. Do you have something that you would like, but maybe you haven't tried yet, or you haven't had the opportunity to explore yet? So fill this out. You're going to rate, again, 0 to 6 for each of these. And then you're going to add them up. I'll write that on the board so you can let me know. Sure. I will take over. I will. Okay. Thank you. So I've got the 4 of them. Thank you so much. I've gotten really good at like carrying things with one crutch, but I will take it. Thank you. So again, please be honest. This is just for you. You're not turning it in. I won't ask you your results in any way. This is just for your own reflection as much as you're comfortable with. There is a little bit of math, I will tell you, very minimal. Thank you so much. Very kind. Yeah.
Can I add it on non-applicable if I haven't had
Yeah,
behavior?
yeah, or yeah, then that's one of the issues, right? What this we can talk about.
Yes.
So don't worry about the back again, just the front. And when you're done, what you can do is add all of them up. Feel free to use your phone or yourself or a mathematically inclined neighbor, whatever you need. But you're gonna add up all of the numbers and then divide by 21. And that will give you a number. Okay, that will be your overall score.
We have the possible and.
Yeah, so add all of the numbers up and then there's 21 total boxes, so you'll divide by 21. And that'll give you like an overall global score. Give you a few more minutes and then we can talk about what it means and some issues. There's definitely issues.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like for some of it, it's just like,
Hold on to that for a minute, right? We'll come back to it because there are.
it's kind of weird, because it's like, I'm kind of basing it on like some like past stuff, like, there was like this point where like, when I was really young, I used to just like be very much like close to, I used to like kind of be very, very much just close to women, and it's like, it's kind of funny how it's like, it kind of mostly completely flipped, where it's like, now it's like, I only have like one very specific like type of woman, and one specific type of woman, like in terms of body type, but it's like, there's a lot of like male body types I like.
Yeah, a lot of layers to this. Again, add up all the numbers and then divide by 21, and that'll give you, it should give you a score between 0 and 6. If it's lower or higher, you did something wrong. Right, 0 to 6, it should be. And overall, like average. All of them, yeah, all the boxes. Yes. And it should be between 0 and.
So divided by 21?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
The most math it will ever make you do, I promise. Yeah, I'm not plugging it. Oh, that would be the ASP. Super. A lot of you still adding, so I'll give you another minute or two, and then we can talk about what it means and some problems. 21, yeah. That's how many scores there are total. So your final score should be somewhere between 0 and 6.
Yes.
Yep, and then that'll be your overall score.
Yeah.
Does anyone need more time?
20.
Okay, no, that's fine, thank you for telling me. Let's see, I'm just you guys still looking like you're doing math. My kid's math has gotten too hard. I'm like, I can't help you anymore, it's too hard. 7th, 8th grade math is tough. It's like you'll never use this again. Psychology doesn't require a lot of movement. Just make this. Yeah, so add them all up and then divide by 21. All right, so once you have a score, if you take that number, compare it to this chart right here, that is your orientation according to this test. Okay, so like you can kind of plug it in. Obviously, you probably have a number that's not a clean like number, but it's somewhere in between. So there are problems with this. but it's taking account your past, your present, and your ideal, which is a big strength. It looks at a lot of different elements of orientation, which is a big strength. But what are some problems with this? Yeah, because there are a few. Yeah.
It doesn't take into account romantic preference, it only says emotional and social.
Okay.
Emotionally intimate with somebody and platonically, it doesn't have to be romantic. I know that like I'm very like emotionally intimate with like my friend's quarter girls, but
Yeah.
I'm gay. And then also it doesn't take into account like possible effects of maybe like sexual trauma. Maybe
Okay.
maybe you don't like associate with a certain gender
Because of something that happened,
because
right?
of
Or,
something that
sure.
doesn't necessarily make you any less of a
Okay. Okay. Those are good points. Yeah. What else?
I just, what was interesting to me is like, it's asking like, want to spend time with.
Yeah.
And like, want to socialize with, and to me,
Yeah.
that is just not really connected to sexuality.
Right. That hurts my score every time. I will tell you, like, I'm like, no, right? Because I actually, like, if you gave me
Yeah.
the opportunity to hang out with whoever, I almost always would choose men. I tend to have more in common with men. I tend to get along better with men. I have no interest in dating them, but I want to be their friends. It hurts my score, people, every time, right?
Yeah.
So I'll share with you, I don't mind like sharing with you, my score was 4.4, which puts me predominantly, but incidentally heterosexual. Incidentally, that's not gonna happen, okay?
I feel like it's kind of weird. It's like, well, like, I am like very much more attracted, very much more attracted
To
men.
one
It's
and the
like,
other.
it's like it's saying, it's like I'm mostly the ones.
Okay, yeah, and I
Same
love the incidentally, I'm like, I don't even like, I haven't had an incident. So I've been married to my wife for 22 years, right? We've been married in a monogamous, happy relationship for 22 years. There have been no incidents outside of that, right? But like, because of my social preference to hang out with people who are male, it brings my score down. I'm like, Ralph, I blame Ralph, right? My friend Ralph, right? Like, it's all his fault, right? But it brings that down every single time for me, right? And so like, I don't agree with that. Like, some people would say that matters toward your orientation. I'm not sure that it matters toward my sexual orientation. It's my preference for people. So like, I'm always waiting for someone to bring that up, because that is, I think, a big criticism. It can very much influence your score. Incidentally heterosexual, right? Not for a very long time.
Well, and the weirdest question to me was, question F, which was.
Okay.
Community, do you like to spend your time?
Right,
I
right.
was like, does that mean like, do I want to hang out with gay people? Cause like, that's,
Right.
well, I love hanging out with gay people, that doesn't mean I'm
Right.
gayer because I'm hanging out with gay
Mhm.
people. It's
You're gay by affiliation.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Right.
Yes, which is fine, it's just
Right.
like, I just don't agree with that.
Right.
I don't think you choose to spend your time with.
Right.
You choose to enjoy spending time with.
Affects your orientation.
Like, yeah.
Right. But so we have two really big issues here, like who are you romantically like drawn toward, who you spend time with affecting your orientation. Anyone else have another issue you can think of? I have at least like two more I can think of that are problems here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same spot with Barbara. I identify as sexually.
Uh-huh.
Like almost all.
Yeah. Tank your score, huh?
One.
Oh. Okay, you're right, that's a little far, right? Yeah, it really affects it, and some researchers think that matters, right? Ultimately, it's whatever you decide that matters, right? Anyone else? Another issue? Yeah.
Like what you just said, I think that's the self-identification category should have a lot more weight than it does. Like, it shouldn't be equal to the others.
Yeah, okay.
It should be worth a lot more. That's how you identify.
Yeah. That should be weighted differently, right? What if you've never had sex before? Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
this doesn't take into account like people who maybe haven't ever had sex. How are we defining sex? Because that means something to everybody as well, right? That can mean something different to everyone, which we saw when we did our research. And there's nothing on here related to asexuality at all, right? Like if you don't have like a general like attraction or draw to other people, you are ignored by this entirely, right? And so there are problems, but this is the best one that we have as of today, right? So again, just in general, I just want you to be really aware that orientation is something that is a spectrum, right? That it's kind of flawed in the way that we view it. And there are a lot of issues with like how you define things, what matters to you, what doesn't matter to you. Ultimately, it's however you self-define, right? Like however you want to define yourself is what people should respect. Though I once had a friend, he was a straight male who identified as lesbian because he liked women. I'm like, you don't get to use that term, buddy, but that's what he wanted to be. I think he was just being a punk, but that's what he wanted to identify as. I mean, ultimately, it's what people choose, right? Whatever people choose is your kind of general orientation. But this is the best measure that we have as of now. You can throw it away or keep it. It's up to you. I'm not going to collect it. How many of you, just out of curiosity, more or less agree with your score? Does anyone more or less agree? I see a lot of this, right? Anyone like really disagree with your score? Okay, so in a small sample, yeah, you don't like it, right? So in a very small sample, there's like 20 of you. There's not even 20 of you. A lot of you disagree, right? So imagine on a big scale, like how limited this could be. Okay, so we'll go a little bit farther. Let's do one more slide and then maybe we'll stop there for today. But what determines your orientation? Okay, how do we determine or decide what your orientation is? And I will tell you, as of today, this morning, right now, there is no, like, nothing that gives us a completely satisfactory explanation of what determines your orientation. Okay, nothing, right? There's nothing biological, there's nothing sociological, there's nothing that combines them, there's no nature, nurture, nothing that determines this that we know of as today. Okay, so it could be that one day we're like, okay, it's this gene, it's this neurotransmitter, it's this hormone, it's this whatever. But as of today, we still do not know. So, like almost everything in psychology, the brilliant and almost always correct phrase to know is it's probably a combination of factors that led to X, right? If you ever want to be right in psychology, that's all you have to say. It's a combination of factors that led to blank. And of course, you're correct, right? Nature and nurture. So when it comes to biology, if this were purely genetic, it would have died out. Okay, like just by like procreation alone, people who are gay and lesbian are way less likely to have children because it's more complicated, right? And so it would have died out. If it was purely genetic, it would have ended a long time ago. And it's not, right? The rates of it, if anything, are higher now than they used to be. So it's not purely genetic. There isn't a hormone that's thought to play a role in this. There's some correlational stuff that like exposure to certain hormones when someone is pregnant could play a role, but there's just as many cases to refute it as there are to confirm it. So it's nothing that's like definite or definitive. Birth order. There's some interesting studies that we've noticed. The more sons that are born to the same person, the more likely later sons are to be gay, right? Is that just numbers, like odds, right? Or is that something more? Again, there's nothing like definitive there. There was a huge study done at Berkeley, 15 years ago, that looked at finger correlations to, so physiology, looking at the size and the margin of your index finger to your thumb. And people who had a certain margin or greater were more likely to be gay. Again, purely correlational, right? So that hasn't held, right? Let's measure, right? That hasn't held up over time. If we look at the environment, Freud called being gay or lesbian the ultimate narcissism because you loved people like yourself, right? He would put it all back to issues with your parents when you were a baby, right? That you didn't successfully navigate that Oedipal and Electra complex as a child. No support to that idea. Freud's theories have very minimal support, period, but none to that specifically. Experiences and learning that you were conditioned. If that was the case, again, the vast majority of people identify as heterosexual. If it was learning and conditioning, the vast majority of people would then grow up to be heterosexual. Now, I feel like one of my kids is like, I'm gay because you guys are gay. Like, but that's just because she's 11 and thinks it's entertaining, I think. We'll see. I'm curious. I have 3 kids. Like, let's see what happens. One of mine is definitely asexual. She would rather die than talk to anybody, right? So I don't think she'll be with anyone. And one I don't think knows, all she cares about is manga, right? I don't know, so we're way beyond like anything else right now. And then the other, very buy-in in the middle, right? I'm curious, I'll see, I can't update you one day, but I'll be curious. But it's not experiences and learning, right? Your parents can model what's acceptable and not acceptable, but it doesn't always set the stage. And then social constructions, right? In our society, there are some things we accept more than others. People tend to battle with their orientation a lot, even if it is outside of like the norm, right? So again, as of today, as of what is today, the 6th of October, right? We do not know what causes orientation. There are some serious consequences for knowing. If we knew that it was genetic or physiological or biological, we could potentially eradicate it. If we knew that it was 100% environmental, we could potentially eradicate it. But again, as of today, we don't know. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And
We'll watch a clip from that next time. Yeah.
and like one of the things is like the lady's like, you need to find your group or sweating and that's from the section.
Right.
And one of them was
Your
like,
moment, right? Yeah.
I swam too much as a kid.
Right? Clearly, right? It was that time I wore pants, right? No, right? You never know, right? So as it stands today, last thought, and then I'll stop after this one. We try and get a measure of who identifies this way, but it's tricky because not everyone understands these terms. And if your orientation is truly fluid and can change from day to day or month to month or week to week, whatever, how do you accurately measure it, right? A lot of statistical problems in trying to measure this. The popular opinion is that we say like 1 in 7 or 10 people identifies as gay or lesbian. 1 in 10 is generally like a pretty accepted statistic. 1 in 7 is kind of on the high end, 1 in 10 probably on the lower end. If we add bisexuality, it goes up a lot, okay? But oftentimes we measure that differently. So this is a very difficult thing to get an accurate percentage of. Again, because people change. When all of you did your research, sometimes people didn't even know how we were defining these terms. Does bisexual include pansexual? Are we measuring asexual? Like, how do people view like these things? Like, it can make it very complicated. What we do see universally is that as a member of a minority group, in this case, we're talking about orientation, but whatever minority, if you're part of a minority, that tends to lead to struggles in general. As a member of a minority, people who identify as like gay or lesbian do tend to struggle with some things that we'll talk about next time. Things like homophobia, things like institutional issues related to legislation and so on. So there do tend to be some correlations there, but getting an accurate percentage, really, really difficult to do. And again, it can change so easily that makes it tricky too. Okay, so hold on to those forms or get rid of them. It's totally up to you. Again, I'm not collecting them. What we'll do next class, I won't see you Wednesday because it's a flex day. So enjoy your break. I get to learn about all sorts of things on Wednesday, I'm sure. But what we'll do next time is we'll move forward to the rest of the chapter.
Okay.
I'll see you next week. It was so wonderful to see you all. It's been too long. I'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, I'll definitely get back to that. I don't like them. I'll definitely get back into that pretty assigned. I didn't finish it, but it's like, I just want to focus on like getting.
Oh, thank you. And remember,
I just wanna
everything's
take-
recorded too. If you ever need to go back,
I
it's
just
all.
really wanted to, yeah, but to be honest, I just really wanted to like shower soon and just take care of some of my homework.
I understand.
I just want to take care of some of my homework, so it's like, well, I'll just take care of it on the next. Actually.
All about the prayer. Oh, thank you. So
I'll just take care of it next week.
Is next Wednesday like classes?
It's this Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, they call it a flex day, so it's faculty have to come for stuff and students.
Yeah,
will be there.
okay.
Yeah, so it's campus wide, so there should be no class period.
Alright.
Yeah.
See you.
Thank you again for handing those out for me. All right.